till he gets to a reasonable height. Once we execute the catch and we really learn how to catch our body properly, we'll progress into what we call continuous hurdle hops. Now, similar to the box jump that we used previously in progressing into the depth jump, we'll progress into a continuous hurdle hop here with Brian. As soon as he hits the ground, he's going to explode up. We'll say the ground's hot, fast off the floor. We'll go back and do another set. Before he starts, we know Brian can execute the catch. We know he can control his body because he's demonstrated that in the hurdle hop with the catch. And now this next step is a logical progression to the plyos. Fast off the floor, ground's hot, landing in a good athletic catch. Excellent. We have one more exercise that will start to introduce single leg plyometric drills. We'll utilize this 18-inch box over here. And we can have James demonstrate. This is called a single leg plyometric step up. It's an explosive step up drill. It's our first drill as we progress into single leg plyometric exercises. Notice he's driving off that box, exploding with his hands, getting as high as possible off a one leg jump. Excellent. As we conclude our plyometric segment, I want to emphasize 3 points. And those 3 points are simply this. It's quality over quantity when it comes to plyometric training. A little bit goes a long way. Secondly, speed of movement is critical. We want our athletes to move at a very fast rate. We're working on ground-based force application. All right, and the third thing, safety is always a critical factor that we always want to keep in mind. Technique needs to be perfect, and we want to teach our athletes to land properly as much as we want to improve our athletes' ability to jump high. By landing properly, you'll greatly reduce the risk of injuring an athlete. As we progress from the warm-up portion of our training into the resistance portion of our training, it's important that we describe to you the 3 principles that we believe in here at the University of Iowa. These 3 principles govern our strength training. The first is that we believe in developing ground-based power. The harder you push against the ground, the higher you jump, and the faster you run. We will train with our feet on the ground. The vast majority of our training will be executed with our feet on the ground. This will help us develop the 2 areas that we focus on in strength conditioning. One being preventing injury, and the other being improving athletic performance. The second principle that we believe in is multi-joint movements. The body is one piece and it needs to be trained as one piece. When we train at Iowa, we want to use big basic exercises that require us to coordinate our body as one neuromuscularly coordinated unit. Big movements such as squats, presses, rows, your snatches, jerks, cleans. Exercises, again, that force us to use the body as one piece. The third principle is that we believe in 3-dimensional movement. This simply means that we like to use free weights. In the sport of football, you're required to have strength and stability in all 3 dimensions, from right to left, forward and back, as well as up and down. By using free weights, we can develop our body's strength and stability in all 3 dimensions. The first movement that we're going to teach is the high pull. All right, and we'll start by describing and demonstrating the perfect starting position. James is going to step forward, and with good posture, you'll starting at the feet. We want to start with the hip width base. Feet within the width of his hips. All right, his hands are just slightly wider than his hips. He has his chest up and he's standing tall. At Iowa, we talk continually about setting your core. What that means to us is flexing your abs, pulling your belly button in tight and keeping a nice braced, tight abdomen. Secondly, pulling your scapula together and keeping the muscles of your upper back tight by spreading your chest and pulling your scaps together. That is what, when we say set your core, that is exactly what we're looking for. Tight abs and a tight back. Before we initiate any movement in the weight room, whether it's an Olympic movement, a press, a pull, a squat, we want to set our core every single time. So here's our starting position. We'll initiate this movement by going from the start position to what we call the power position. And this is initiated by first setting your core, and then James will push his hips back to initiate movement. Now we get into the power position. If he can hold that position just for a minute, the power position is one where you're flexed at the ankle, the knee, and the hip. This is where you're strongest and you have the ability to apply the most force against the ground. Frazier's back is flat, his chest is on top of the bar, his shoulders are in front of the bar, he's looking straight ahead. Stand up tall. So again, starting position, set the core, initiate by pushing the hips back. That bar will travel so it's just slightly above the knee. He's flexed at the ankle, the knee and the hip, shoulders in front, chest on top, nice flat back, looking straight ahead. That's your power position. Stand tall, you can rack the weight. Now this same start position as well as the power position, we'll see duplicated throughout many of our Olympic lifts. We'll see it duplicated in the high pull, we'll see it in the snatch, we'll see it in the clean, and we'll see some similarities also in the jerk. So it's important that we do a good job of understanding what setting the core is, also understanding what the power position is. So we'll just review that quickly. Grabbing the bar just slightly wider than hip width. The feet are hip width. Good posture. All right, he's going to set his core. Abs tight, back tight, chest is up, looking straight ahead. Initiate movement by pushing the hips back, flexing at the ankle, the knee, and the hip with a nice flat back, looking straight ahead. That's the power position. Stand up. Okay, now, start position, power position. The key to the Olympic movements, to applying ground-based force, all right, is going from that power position to the triple extended position. So we're going to go from the power position, and now he's going to triple extend. What I mean by that is he will extend at the ankle, the knee, and the hip, as if he is jumping off the ground. Excellent. Back to the power position, and now we'll extend up, extend at the hip, knee, and ankle, and this is our triple extended position. We'll rack the bar. It's difficult to show you these movements in slow motion, all right, because it's difficult to maintain and hold that triple extended position. With a young athlete, sometimes we'll use a lighter bar, or we'll utilize a stick in order to take them through the progression of teaching the start position, the power position, and the triple extended position so they can get a feel for those movements. We've demonstrated the start position. We've demonstrated the power position. We've also demonstrated the triple extended position. Okay. Next, we'll show you the finish position of the high pull. Fraser's going to grab the bar and step forward. Good start position. Set the core. Push the hips back. Now he'll jump and shrug. Extend it up. And he wants to pull that bar up just below the chin. Let's do another one. We'll go full speed here so we can execute and you can see it at full speed. All right, notice his elbows are breaking high and wide to the side. He wants to keep the bar tight to the body. One more. Break. That completes the high pull. Again, four major positions that we need to execute perfectly: the start, the power position, the triple extended position, and then we're finishing with that bar up high underneath that chin, nice and tight to the body. The next exercise that we'll execute is a dumbbell snatch. You'll see many of the same positions executed again. The start position, okay, with Tyler, setting that core, good tall posture. He'll get into the power position the same way he did in the high pull. He's going to initiate by pushing the hips back. That dumbbell is going to drop down below the knee, between the knees. And from here, he'll execute the triple extended jump. And then he'll finish the overhead support position. It's important that we demonstrate the overhead support position. Okay, in this position, we're flexed at the ankle, the knee, and the hip. The torso is upright. His core is set strong with a strong torso. His scapular tight, and that dumbbell is directly over his hips. That's the overhead support position, and we'll see this position repeated as well. Let's do it again. Start position. Set your core. Push the hips back. Dumbbell comes between the knees. Jump, shrug, and finish that overhead support position. Stand tall. One more. And break. Next we'll have Brian demonstrate the dumbbell snatch with the left hand. Again, good start position. Sets his core. Starts by pushing his hips back. Dumbbell drops between the knees. He jumps and shrugs. Finishes in the overhead support position. The resistance is directly over the center of gravity, directly over the hips. As coaches, you'll hear us say, hips back, jump, shrug. Excellent. Nice job, Brian. Okay, next we'll move on to the barbell snatch. Starting with a good start position. James is going to set his core. Go ahead. Set the core, push the hips back, jump and shrug. Full extension, land in a good overhead support position. Rack it, and now we'll do it again. We'll do another double just so you can see it again. Full speed. Sets his core, push the hips back, jump and shrug. Notice his chest is over the bar, his shoulders are out in front of the bar in that power position. Do one more double, Fraser. All your power is going to come from your hips here. Some common errors. You want to make sure the athlete doesn't pull with the arms, but he extends with the hips, keeps the arms long. Chest over the bar, shoulders in front of the bar. Oftentimes, young athletes, you'll see them bend at the elbows and pull with their upper body. We want to make sure that we're extending our hips to generate power. The next exercise that we'll do is the hang clean. You'll see the same positions, the same start position as the snatch, the same power position, the same triple extension position. Where we'll see a major difference now is where we catch the bar. Instead of catching the bar in an overhead support position, okay, as we did in the barbell snatch, now we're going to catch the bar in what we call a front squat position. Once he triple extends and explodes up with his hips, jumps off the ground, he'll actually shuffle his feet out just slightly and catch that bar in the front squat position. The front squat position, all right, is one where that torso is up, the elbows are parallel to the ground, his hips will be slightly flexed and just slightly back, all right, and the knees will be slightly bent. So we're looking to be flexed at the ankle, the knee, and the hip. Torso is up, chest is up, looking straight ahead, elbows parallel to the ground. We'll have Mike rack it, and he'll step out and execute another double. Excellent. Set the core, hips back, jump, shrug. Shoot those elbows through the bar, catching a good front squat position. Again, we want to be careful that the athlete does not widen his base too much on the catch. Let's do another one, Mike. Set the core, hips back, jump and shrug. Good power position. Excellent job. That's our hang clean. Our next exercise is the push press. And before we move forward with the push press, I want to re-emphasize the overhead support position because you'll see it used in the push press. We've seen it used in the dumbbell snatch where we explained it earlier. We also utilized it in the barbell snatch. But before we move forward, we want to make sure we re-emphasize the coaching points of the overhead support position because that's where we'll finish in our push press. Okay, Brian will just get up to that top position. The overhead support position with a bar, okay, we are slightly flexed at the ankle and the knee. Our abs, our core is set, okay, back is tight, we're looking straight ahead, and that bar is over our center of gravity, which is right over our hips. That's the strongest position. So our head is actually slightly forward and the bar is straight up over those hips. It's important that we do a good job of executing this overhead support position in the snatch as well as the push press. We'll bring the bar back down. Now, to execute the push press from beginning to end, all right, we'll start with the same starting position that we will in the snatch and also the hang clean. Our feet are hip width apart. Why? Because that's where we can display the most power against the ground. That's the most advantageous position to jump. It's the same position we use in a vertical jump, same position we use in a snatch or a clean. So feet are hip width apart. Brian is going to set his core. The coaching points we will use will be dip and drive. He is going to dip, bending at the ankle and the knee, in the hip, and he is going to explode up and press through the bar. Okay? What Brian did there was a little bit of a push jerk. We're looking for a push press. His feet will not leave the ground here. Okay? We're going to dip and drive. There we go. Okay? Again, set the core. Abs are tight. We're going to dip and drive. This is a push press. We're going to use the power from our hips by pushing against the ground, and as we extend our hips, we're going to transfer that power up through our hands and finish in the overhead support position. Okay, please rack the bar. We start our young athletes with the push press. Then we progress into what we call the push jerk. The push jerk is a more explosive movement where we will add one more segment to the movement. We will dip and drive, and once we drive through the bar and explode, we'll actually explode just slightly off the ground, and we'll land in that overhead support position. We'll have Brian demonstrate that. Set the core. He's going to dip and drive. Dip at the ankle, knee, and hip, and drive. He's going to land in that overhead support position, slightly flexed at the ankle, the knee, and the hip. This is an excellent exercise to develop ground-based force production. Okay, we'll rack the bar and we'll move over and Brian will show you what it looks like with weight.